Welcome back to What's Kenner French Thinking, where we talk about what Kenner is thinking when it comes to AI and finance. Kenner is the author, Amazon bestselling author of Modern Millions AI, and I am Elaine Mingus, your co-host, and also former Mrs. Texas. And I don't know
Mm,
how I ended up here, but we're here. And so today we're going to be
yeah.
talking about Bainbridge Island and all the things going on there. So, how does Bainbridge Island and AI connect?
Huh, that's a good one. I think, well, for one, I live here and I'm a big, big proponent of artificial intelligence, but I think, there's a lot, sometimes there's a negative context of artificial intelligence on the island. People worry about the environment, what's this new technology? But, I'm finding a small underpinning of people who are real advocates of artificial intelligence and they're getting, their numbers are growing and growing and growing and swelling. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I would say there's might be a little bit of a disconnect, but there's going to be a connection more so than you'll ever believe down the road.
How is AI already being used in cities across America?
Mm. Which, by the way, Bainbridge should really look at closer. But I'll use San Francisco as an example. Over 300,000 employees at the city are now using artificial intelligence. They're using Microsoft's Copilot, and that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. It's helping the city run itself, basically, based on using an AI model. So that's just one example. Pittsburgh's using it for their streets. Um, um, San Jose is using it for helping with the homeless problem. So, there's those are just three examples of artificial intelligence enabled cities. And Bainbridge Island, I think, is going to walk down that path. Maybe slow, but I'm assuming it's going to leapfrog everyone else here pretty soon.
What are some of the potential things that Bainbridge Island would miss out on if they don't adopt
Mm.
AI sooner than later?
Well, I use this for entrepreneurs too, because we at vastsolutionsgroup.com work with entrepreneurs. We do tax, finance, and artificial intelligence to help entrepreneurs. And what I would say, the same thing for entrepreneurs who are not using AI would be the same thing for cities that are not using AI. You're going to be left behind. About 233 cities apparently in Washington state, and the ones who are adopting artificial intelligence are going to be run more efficiently, and they're going to be helping the citizens as a result. Just like in with vastsolutionsgroup.com's clients. Our clients who are using AI are increasing their net worth. They're lowering their taxes. They're helping their assets to be safe as far as asset protection goes. So, artificial intelligence is going to go a long way in helping cities and entrepreneurs who are using artificial intelligence.
So there's a lot of fear surrounding AI. How would
Mm,
you approach some of the things that people have said about AI when it comes
mhm.
to, some fears about, adopting it in a city management type profile?
I get it. I get it. It's two things. It's scary. Artificial intelligence is a scary thing. We've seen HAL on whatever the Odyssey or whatever. That movie or whatever Space Odyssey 2001 or whatever it was. But what what I would say is we're using artificial intelligence every day, and we've probably been using it for years. If you use Google as an example, which you and I have talked about, think about it. We've been using AI for years, right? We just didn't know. Number one, and if you're not going to use Google just because you're afraid of AI, good luck, dude. Right? Uh, number one, number one, number two, there's no reason to be afraid of artificial intelligence. All it is keystrokes. It's not going to, do anything negative, seemingly, at least when you're, typing in information, because all it is digits, ones and zeros, right? And then, some people are worried about the biases of it. Well, there's biases in everything we do as humans. And one way to combat that is putting the information that you want to go into the system as a prompt and make it, well, less biased if you want. So there's just a few things that are AI oriented that are kind of scary, but there's ways to get around them pretty easily. One, we've been using Google for a long time. You can mitigate the fear factor by working with the model a little bit more so than you might have, because you're communicating in a fun way with it, as an example. So artificial intelligence, it's a thing that's here to stay, and if you're not using it, you're going to be left behind.
So how can AI be used to reduce redundancy and,
Mm.
maybe save some time for people in Bainbridge Island and the city government?
Yeah, that's good. Garbage in, garbage out. The more information you put into the model, ask it questions through what they call prompts, the better information will be that's coming out. So I would say is we just need as citizens to, work with the city and put as much emphasis on artificial intelligence. And then what we'll figure out is ways that it can help us to, balance a budget as an example, mitigate the risks that is, Bainbridge Island City liability, to optimize some things such as, traffic patterns, planning, any of the above will help. And it's something I keep saying it, but it is true. If we don't adopt it, what's the alternative? What truly is the alternative? We're not going to go back to, carving on, stone blocks. That's not going to work. I don't know of another alternative. If there's another alternative to artificial intelligence that's out there, introduce it to me. I'm totally down with seeking it out and looking into it. I've just spent a lot of years looking for other solutions and I haven't come up with any. I know artificial intelligence right now is the thing to help us as a city, as humanity, to propel forward.
Yeah, and not to mention the time saver that, mundane tasks that the city does on a regular basis will be done in seconds rather than hours. So, and this is gonna be the last question, but it's one that I almost think we need a whole nother podcast on. Relationships, and I'm not talking about, like, how
Mhm.
I use it when me and my husband are in a fight and I ask ChatGPT to make the text sound nicer. I'm talking about how can it there's a lot of personnel, there's a whole HR department. How can we use AI in the city manager or city government to
Mm.
help with relationship problems in the workplace?
Well, I mean, I use it for my therapist, as a matter of fact. I have my own therapist, and it's an AI model. People just should rely and utilize artificial intelligence, that being a model, and enhance the relationships. Ask it questions how you can, as an example, work with a city coworker a little bit better, how to help with your kids math, as an example, how to deal with a situation with your child, as an example. There's a lot of ways that people are not using artificial intelligence for, and if they did, they'd be happy. And one way is relationships. It's strengthened my relationship with my wife, as a matter of fact, which is crazy.
Yeah, and imagine what it can do in a hot situation. I mean, there's entire sometimes groups of people that are hired specifically for, you know, kind of de-escalating situations in the workplace because we all get hot-headed sometimes. We all have interpersonal relationships at work, and it's definitely something that we can use not just to save time, save money, but to save relationships, which I think is super important as a cornerstone of humanity. So,
Mhm.
well, I have had an entirely too good of a time to listening to you and listening about Bainbridge Island and all the things AI. So I just ask our guests to join us next week on the podcast, What Kenner and Friends Thinking, where we ask Kenner, what are you thinking?